Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, July 31st, 2023. The main fire potential impacts for the next few days are shown here. The big story for the week is this big monsoon moisture surge moving into the Great Basin. Started yesterday, it's going to continue today through the work week, really, bringing some pretty heavy precip amounts to much of the Great Basin, especially the central and eastern portions of the area. So looking forward to widespread precip and cooler temperatures this week. But we do have some breezy winds and dry conditions up north today, and to some extent tomorrow before that moisture moves in. The past 24 hours, precipitation and lightning is shown here. So those storms did start yesterday, mainly over southwest Utah and portions of southeast Nevada, and also eastern Utah, western Wyoming. So we'll see that continue to become more widespread in the coming days. We are already having some pretty heavy precip amounts with some of these storms, up to an inch of rain here in southwest Utah. Yesterday's fire activity is shown here. We had 20 fires for 48 acres. We don't have an accurate large fire growth estimate, but we do know that the Elkhorn fire up here did have a pretty significant increase in acreage. That was the kind of the big news from yesterday. Observed precip for the past 14 days is shown here. We can see a little bit of a stronger trend in that monsoon moisture starting to come up. This doesn't include the precip from yesterday, but still a dry trend over the past few weeks, month really, over Idaho and into western Nevada. This map is going to be changing quite a bit this week. Current fire danger conditions. Here we're looking at the ERC percentiles. We can see that fire danger is on a downward trend over Utah with increased relative humidities and precipitation, and up into western Wyoming as well. Still seeing some high values with the dry conditions over northwest Nevada and southern Idaho. This morning's satellite imagery shows a high pressure ridge just off to the east, allowing that deep monsoonal moisture and some tropical moisture to move up into the Great Basin. That's going to continue moving northward throughout the work week. Still this low pressure sitting off the Pacific coast here, keeping those breezy winds in place over central Idaho. So for this afternoon, we can see the moisture moving up into the Great Basin. We do have high risk for those winds over the east central Idaho mountains today, and some of our zones in Utah are transitioning back to yellows and greens as the moisture moves northward. Closer look at the precip for today, still mainly looking at Utah up into western Wyoming and the far southeast corner here of Nevada. Those precip totals over the higher elevations could be up to a half an inch or so today. And the wind speeds here on the right, most of these higher winds in Utah are going to be outflows from thunderstorms, but we do have some breezy conditions along the Sierra front and up into those central Idaho mountains. On Tuesday, we see a significant increase in moisture into the Great Basin, especially Utah and Nevada. Our PSAs continue to transition from browns to yellows and greens. Precip totals on Tuesday. Here we're looking at another day of pretty heavy precip amounts, maybe up to 3/4 of an inch or more at some of our higher elevations in Utah and eastern Nevada there. Precip making its way up to the Idaho border by Tuesday, and gusty outflow winds from the thunderstorms, but lighter winds in Idaho. On Wednesday, the moisture continues to move northward. We do see some enhancement with little short waves moving through the flow, and we'll see all of our PSAs moving back into the yellow or green by Wednesday. Pretty significant day for precip on Wednesday. We can see this large area of the blue color. That's up to 3/4 of an inch of rain. This is day 3 of those heavy precip amounts. So pretty widespread wetting day for Wednesday should be the biggest, most widespread day for those showers and thunderstorms of the week. And looking at our temperatures for Wednesday, highs in the mid 80s for much of the Great Basin, a little bit higher on the western periphery where things are a little bit drier, but pretty cool day compared to what we've been seeing. And then the 3-day precip totals are shown here. So over the next 3 days at the higher elevations of Utah, we could see up to 1.5 inches of precip, in some areas even more, up 2 inches in the Uintas or so. So definitely a very moist air mass coming in and a lot of enhancement that's going to produce those widespread showers and thunderstorms. On Thursday, the moisture continues to move northward up into Idaho and the central Idaho mountains. Should see some good precip. We do see some drier air returning to the southern Great Basin by Thursday. On Friday, more the same, so drier air continues to move into the southern Great Basin for decreasing showers and thunderstorms there, but lingering showers and thunderstorms over Idaho on Friday. And we'll see that same pattern on Saturday with the high pressure ridge elongating across the southwest U.S. into southern California. That really cuts off our monsoonal flow. So drier heading into the weekend, but some lingering moisture up north. And more of that same pattern into Sunday with lingering moisture across the north and drier air mass across the south. Our PSAs will return back to the yellows and browns in some cases. And then those 7-day totals are just impressive for this time of year. Western Wyoming could see over 2 inches of rain across some of those areas in the Uintas as well. We still do see some dry pockets. Northwest Nevada is going to stay dry, and portions of far western Idaho could be on the drier side as well. The extended forecast, August 7th through the 13th, keeps temperatures below normal across the northern Rockies, and that's clipping the northeast portions of the Great Basin there. But also a dry pattern for much of Utah and Nevada heading into the first to second week of August, and above normal precip still in the forecast for Idaho. So an interesting weather pattern heading into the middle of August. Certainly this precipitation will decrease fire danger for the short term, and we'll see what we're looking at as we head into the middle of August. That concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.